Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samar News. Here are today's headlines. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has left for a 3-day visit to the United States, where he will meet President Donald Trump to discuss strengthening bilateral ties. Riyadh is expected to seek security guarantees and advanced weaponry during the talks. It is the Crown Prince's first trip to Washington since the fallout from the 2018 Khashoggi killing. A Bangladesh war crimes court has sentenced ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to death, concluding a months-long trial that found her guilty of ordering a deadly crackdown on a student-led uprising last year. Hasina got a life sentence under charges for crimes against humanity and the death sentence for the killing of several people during the uprising. Former Interior Minister Salman has also been sentenced to death for crimes against humanity, while former police chief Chowdhury Abdullah's death sentence was commuted to 5 years in prison for cooperating with the state. Sheikh Hasina has, on the other hand, issued a blistering response after being sentenced to death in absentia by the International Crimes Tribunal on charges of crimes against humanity stemming from last year's violent crackdown on student protests. Minutes after the ICT announced its verdict, Hasina released a strongly worded statement rejecting all charges and condemning the ruling as the product of an unelected government with no democratic mandate. Meanwhile, Dhaka erupted in clashes and celebrations after Hasina's sentencing. Protesters tried to damage her family home before security forces moved in. Students celebrated across the capital as Awami League activists marched in defiance of a shutdown. The interim government has deployed paramilitary forces and warned of strict action. A Russian missile strike on the eastern Ukrainian city of Balaklia has killed 3 people, with 3 teenagers among the 10 wounded. The governor of the region bordering Russia said overnight, attack damaged multi-storey residence blocks and destroyed scores of cars in the city centre. A photograph provided by regional authorities showed the damaged facade of a multi-storey brick building with windows blown out as flames burned on an upper floor and debris and broken tree branches littered the area. Russia says its troops have captured the village of Hai in Ukraine's Dnipropetrovsk region. The advance follows months of pushing deeper into Dnipropetrovsk and neighbouring Zaporizhia, where Russian forces have moved forward along a broad front by roughly 30 kilometres in recent weeks. Ukraine has not issued an immediate response. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that he has signed a deal with France to obtain 100 Rafale warplanes as he seeks to bolster the country's long-term military capacity to fight Russia's invasion. Zelensky is visiting Paris for talks with President Emmanuel Macron at a time when heavy Russian drone and missile attacks on Ukraine have increased in recent weeks, and Moscow has reported ground advances in the southeastern Zaporizhia region. The Élysée confirmed the number without immediately giving details on whether the Dassault-made jets would be transfers from French stocks or purchases. On the other hand, the Kremlin says it hopes for a new Putin-Trump summit as soon as conditions allow, stressing that both sides need deep preparation before any meeting takes place. Moscow is still reacting to Trump's cancellation of last month's planned talks and to recent US sanctions, which it says have further strained relations. Rain triggered landslides in 2 regions in Indonesia's central Java province last week have led to the deaths of at least 18 people, with search operations ongoing. A landslide in the city of Cilacap last week buried a dozen houses in Cibonying village. Search and rescue efforts have been challenging as people were buried 3 to 8 metres deep. The Cilacap landslide has killed at least 16 people, with 7 missing. Footage from news channels show excavators deployed to dig through dirt in Cilacap. US President Donald Trump has urged his fellow Republicans in Congress to vote for the release of files related to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, reversing his earlier resistance to such a move. Trump's post on his Truth Social came after House Speaker Mike Johnson said earlier that he believed a vote on releasing Justice Department documents in the Epstein case should help put to rest allegations that Trump had any connection to Epstein's abuse and trafficking of underage girls. Indian agricultural exporters are among the winners from US President Donald Trump's exemption of dozens of food items from his reciprocal tariffs regime, which some analysts say could help to revive lost demand. Trump on Friday removed tariffs he had imposed on more than 200 food products, including beef, as consumer concerns mount over rising US grocery prices. Unlike EU and Vietnamese suppliers facing 15% to 20% duties, Indian exporters of tea, coffee, spices and cashew nuts were hit harder after Trump doubled tariffs to as high as 50% on imports of certain Indian goods. The IMF says it plans an intensive program of engagement with Syria as the country rebuilds after years of war, but made no mention of financial assistance. An IMF team in Damascus focused on shaping Syria's 2026 budget as the new government shifts away from Iran, reopens to global markets, and reports early signs of economic recovery. And China's snow town in Heilongjiang has opened for the winter season, offering more than 30 cultural and tourism events, from folk activities to light shows. The scenic area saw its first snowfall on October 17th, about a week earlier than last year. Snowtown typically enjoys a 7-month season, with snow depths reaching up to 2 meters. That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samar.tv. Thank you for watching Samar News.